Hello, good afternoon everybody. Good afternoon. Naririnig ba ako?
Opo, good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon everybody. Okay, Jean, alam mo na gagawin ha? Jean?
Okay po.
Okay. So, welcome to the second day of our week 14 and week 15. Napansin nyo class, yung week 14 tsaka yung week 15, isang chapter lang siya. So, pero mahaba siya, kaya 2 araw siya. Okay, kaya 2 meeting siya kasi yung dalawang chapter number pinagsama sa isang chapter. Kasi yung 14, 15 mahaba siya kaya 2 araw natin siya i-discuss. Okay, what have we discussed yesterday? Sino nakakaalala? What was our topic yesterday? Anybody? Saan na tayo? Tapos na tayo sa review of related literature. What should be the next one? What's the next one? Ano yung topic natin kahapon? Nakalimutan nyo na? Ano? Collecting what? Systematically collecting what? Ano yung i-collect natin after natin mag-review of related literature? Ano na i-collect natin?
Data po.
Okay, we will collect data. Systematic collection of data. Okay? Because research is a systematic approach in learning. Every step is done systematically. Okay? Maayos yung systematized yung systematized yung pagkakaayos. Okay? So share screen lang ako ha. Okay? So welcome to our okay. So this was our topic, ways to systematically collect data or understanding data. So alam niyo na yung word na population, data, narratives, research design, alam niyo na rin yun kahapon. Sampling frame, sampling unit. So alam niyo na yan. Okay. So data analysis in qualitative research. Okay? So basically class, after you have collected your data, pag nakapag-collecta na kayo ng information, numbers, findings, you have to analyze it. But before we continue, let us define the word analysis. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng word na analysis? Okay, analysis is a detailed examination of anything complex in order to understand its nature or to determine its essential features. A thorough study doing a careful analysis of the problem. Okay, so that's it. Analysis is a detailed examination. Okay? So when you analyze something, you are trying to understand it. Okay? Where did it come from? Yung nature niya, the nature of the data and its essential features. Ano bang meron to? Ano bang wala to? Saan ba nanggaling to? Bakit to ganito? Okay? We call that analysis. Okay? So, data analysis is another challenging part of any research. The researcher should be systematic so he or she will not be daunted by the bulk of data he or she gathered. Although some computer software can also do the analysis of the research data, it is still necessary for the researcher to interpret and describe the result. Okay, there are computer softwares that can analyze information, that can analyze data. For example, let's have Grammarly. Grammarly. Nakikita ba yung screen ko, class?
Opo.
Okay, yung Grammarly ito, kapag dinownload nyo to, okay, when you see Grammarly, nakikita do, ayan, yung Grammarly, kinokorek niya yung format, kinokorek niya yung punctuation, yung spelling, yung sentence construction, lahat ng mali mo iko-correct niya. Ayan. So, kaya niyang i-analyze. Kayang i-analyze ng Grammarly yung essay mo. Okay? Or your research paper. Kaya niyang i-correct, kaya niyang i-improve. But of course, it is a computer. Hindi naman siya tao. Okay? May limitations ang computer. Okay? There are limitations. So, ayan siya. Oh. Nakikita niya, di ba, ginagawa ng Grammarly, kinokorek niya. Kinokorek niya yung mga sentences, mga spelling, nagsasuggest siya ng tama kung ano yung dapat alisin. O, ayan. For your paper to be better and to be correct. O, ayan. A year. Di ba? So, nagets nyo? There are softwares available that can analyze your researches. But there are limitations then. These techniques are very useful to your research process, so you will be able to maximize the materials and data that you collected, which leads you to produce a creative and meaningful work of research. Okay? There are four approaches. There are four approaches. There are four approaches. There are four approaches or analytic approaches to qualitative research. So, ano ba yung approach? Okay. Number one is iterative. It's iterative or hermeneutic approach. It involves seeking meaning and developing interpretive explanation through the process of feedback. This involves a series of action, defining the question, going out of the field, examining the data collected, adjusting the question, sampling approach, design aspect, data collection tools in light of emerging issues and current literature. Subjecting this data to a critically reflect process of data analysis to determine what's going on in order to build up a picture of data and going back to the field to find out more. These processes are repeated until the accumulated findings indicate that nothing new is likely to emerge and that the research question has been answered. Okay? Yung iterative approach, parang ito yung traditional approach. This is the traditional approach. You go out of the classroom, go out of school, collect data, okay? And then process that data, then ask questions, do interviews. Kung may mali sa tanong mo, improve your question so that you could get better answers. Okay, number two, subjective approach is focused on the researcher and what takes place within his or her own thoughts and action in specified context. The researcher needs to maintain a detailed and critically reflective diary record and be prepared to subject himself or herself to regular periods of debriefing with a supervisor or colleague. When the researcher's experiences are the sole or partial target of the target, he or she occupies a dual role, that of a researcher and the researched. Okay, for subjective approach, you need a diary. Okay, you need a diary. You need to write there day by day, hour by hour, what did you do in order to accomplish the research. Okay? Ilan sa inyo nakapag-experience ng gumawa ng diary? Ilan na naka-experience? Mag-type nga sa chat kung sino na nakaranas mag-diary dito. Wala, you don't maintain diaries. Tingnan natin. Si Kelly. Oo. Si Kelly nag-diary. Kasi when you do diaries, si Regine, si Ed Jaidan, Ocampo, lahat sila nag-diary. So when you do diaries kasi when doing a research, you have to put your reflections. What happened during the day? What have you learned? What have you found out? Tapos yung diary nyo, i-check yun ng advisor nyo. Okay? Or ng supervisor nyo o nung kasamahan nyo. Tawag natin dun subjective approach. Number 3, investigative semiotic approach involves the uncovering information relating to languages within cultural contexts. The understanding of signs and symbols is central to this approach. Okay? In particular, their mythical strength and the embedded power of particular discourse, which the researcher need to disentangle then reveal the original elements, as well as to identify argument that have been marginalized. Okay? It involves what? Uncovering information relating to languages within cultural contexts. Okay. Sige, magsasabi ko ng salita, tapos sasabihin nyo kung anong taon siya nauso. Okay, pwedeng 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000, 2010, 2020. Okay, magsasabi ko ng word ha, or ng expression. Okay, for example, sinabi ko ay sana all. Sana all. I-type nyo sa chat yung sagot nyo. Sana all. Ayan, 2020 yon syempre. Pag sinabi kong um, pag sinabi kong chika, naku, chika mo lang yan eh. Mahilig ka sa chika. Chika, 19 ano yung chika? Chika, Carl, 29. Oo, 90s. 90s, chika. Yung chika, the word chika is 90s. Pag sinabi ko namang, wow, ang astig naman ng arrive mo, tol. Ang astig naman ng arrive mo, tol. Arrive and tol. Kailan yun nauso? Yung word na arrive tsaka tol. Wala. Ano, nakaka-guess? 70s, hindi. Oo. Late 70s na siguro yon, tsaka 80s. Tama. 70s and 80s. Bongga ka, day. Yun, bongga ka, day. Ang bongga mo, day. 19 ano yan? Ang bongga mo, day. Bongga mo, day. 80s. 70s din hanggang 80s. Ang bongga mo, day. Oo. Yung ito sabihin niyo kung anong taon hindi decade sabihin niyo kung anong specific na taon. Where pa? Sabihin niyo kung anong taon na uso yung where pa. Where pa? Mga 2017 yun. 2018. Ay, hindi. 2018 naman. 2018. Bago mag-lockdown, di ba? Nauso yun. Bago mag-lockdown. Mga 2018 yan. 2018, 2019. Yan. Bago mag-lockdown. Uso pa ba yung word na where pa? Hindi na, di ba? Laos na. Ed Jaydan. Wala nang where pa ngayon 2021. Laos na siya. Last one. Bagets. Wow. Wow, tol. Bagets naman yung girlfriend mo. Bagets. Pag sinabi natin bagets, Ibig sabihin nun, bata pa. Bagets. Ano? Hindi 1970s. 1980s. Okay? So, nagets niya, yung investigative semiotic approach, you try to gauge your investigation through languages sa mga sinasalita because each word expression is unique to every community. Okay? Unique siya sa every community and then it is also unique in different times. Iba't ibang panahon may kanya-kanyang expression, may kanya-kanyang language, may kanya-kanyang characteristic. Okay? Number 4, enumerative approach involves listing or classifying of items by percentages, frequencies, ranked order, or whatever is useful to the research question. This approach involves the researcher in the production of objective accounts of the content of the verbal, written, or visual text. The development of codes and categories often prior to analysis and the definition and measurements of units of analysis. Flowchart, logical reasoning processes, and the seeking links between antecedents and outcomes through identification of ordered word frequency keywords in context and incidence counting. Basta nagbilang ka, class. Okay? Nagbilang ka, nag-percentage ka, anything about numbers and accounts. Okay? It should be objective. Pag nag-usap tayo ng numbers class, it's objective. Hindi nagsisinungaling ang numbers. Okay? It is always exact. Okay? Pag nag-usap tayo about numbers in research, it's always exact. Okay? And numbers doesn't lie. Numbers do not lie. Okay? Numbers do not lie. So we have the enumerative approach. Okay. Next one would be sungit mo. Okay, next. Stages of interview, observational data for analysis. Okay? How do you do interview, class? Sino na naka-experience gumawa ng interview? When you do research, it's inevitable. You have to talk, you have to question people, you have to go out, you have to go out of your comfort zone, labas ka ng school, labas ka ng bahay, kasi you have to gather data eh. Oo, you have to gather data. Yung mga grade 12 ngayon, nahihirapan sila. Alam nyo, class, kasi lockdown. Hindi sila makapag-interview, hindi sila makapag-visit ng mga companies, ng mga libraries kasi nga sarado. Tsaka bawal lumabas, bawal magpapasok ng hindi trabahador. They cannot do interview because of lockdown. Sana by grade 12 nyo, by the time you are grade 12, maayos na yung maayos na yung maayos na yung natin. Yung tapos na siguro yung pandemic para makalabas kayo, makapag-interview kayo. When you do your interview class, you have to gather your data ng maayos. And there are ways to gather them correctly or to gather them correctly. So the first one is transcription data. It involves the dialogue or narrative of the device on which the researcher has recorded it and into a document. So there is a clear researcher defined column for notes as seen below. Okay? Transcription. Ayan. Ita-type nyo word for word. Yung Q, ibig sabihin yan, question. O, ayan. Tony, now that you have been a male primary caregiver for a year, how do you think others view you in this role? Tapos yung A answer. Ganun lang naman yan. Kapag sinabi nating transcription, ano ba magagawa natin? Di ba yung phone nyo may mga recorder yan? Dati kasi kailangan mo pa magdala ng radio para mag-record. Ngayon, through our cellphones, karamihan ng mga cellphones may recorder, voice recorder. So, pwede kang mag-record na lang sa phone. Tapos, ayan, itatranscribe mo lang. Okay? Ang tawag natin dito, transcription. Kapag ginawa mo siya, ang tawag natin, transcribing. Ang papel, transcription. Yung action, transcribing. Okay? Do not mislead. Do not mislead or use it correctly. Q&A, tapos lalagay niyo yung source. Kung sino. Okay? Primary data analysis. It is an ongoing process that is undertaken every time data is collected. It involves a simple process of checking and tracking the data to see what is coming out of it, identifying areas that require follow-up, and actively questioning where the information collected is leading should lead the researcher. It is a process of engagement with the text, not so much to critique it or summarize what is emerging from it, but more to gain a deeper understanding of the values and meaning which lie therein. Okay? So, ito naman yung format. Interview segment of a transcript analyzed using preliminary analysis. Kanina, di ba, merong Q&A. Kanina, word for word, nilagay nyo lang yung tanong tsaka yung sagot. Tanong, sagot, tanong, sagot, tanong, sagot. This time, merong pangalawang column. Okay. On the second column, you may put your notes. And then you may put additional questions and follow-up questions in order to dig deeper. Okay, tinanong, o Tony, di ba nagtrabaho ka as caregiver ng 1 taon? Oh, kamusta yung tingin sa'yo ng ibang tao tungkol dyan sa trabaho mo? Ayun. Sabi ni Tony, kapag daw caregiver ka, medyo may social injustice. Oh, kasi daw, parang panlalaki na to, pambabae pa na trabaho. So you have to put your questions, you have to put your additional questions and follow-up questions regarding Tony's answer. Okay, parang si Tito Boy Abunda. Si Tito Boy Abunda, di ba kapag nag interview siya, may follow-up question, may mga bagay na kailangang linawin, ganon. You may ask follow-up questions or analysis dito sa second column. Okay? Ayan siya. Oh, ayan yung sagot ni Tony. Tapos dito sa second column, merong follow-up questions or additional questions. Saan ba nagtrabaho si Tony? Nag-medical school ba siya? Saang caregiver institution siya nagtrabaho? Okay ba doon? Meron bang discrimination kapag lalaki yung caregiver or kapag babae yung caregiver? So, yun. Nagigets nyo, class, how to do this? Gagawa kayo nito kapag gumawa na kayo ng practical research 2. May part 2 tong subject natin sa grade 12 nyo. Gagawa na kayo ng ganito. And then, the last one, yung pangatlo, we have face sheets. Okay, face sheets. This is a cover sheet that is attached to the front of the data transcription and identifies the study question, time, and place of interview observation and summarizes the main outcomes for the preliminary analysis. Okay. Face sheets, interview with Tony. Tapos research question. Lagay niyo lang yung lagay niyo lang yung mga info ni Tony. Ilan taon na siya? 42. Kailan kayo nag-interview? Anong oras yung interview? Saan yung interview? Comments, ano yung gusto niyo i-comment? Sino yung kasama ni Tony nung in-interview siya? Tapos sulat niyo yung questions niyo sa baba. Okay? We do this class para everything is documented. Alam niyo naman class sa research, hindi naman imbe-imbento yan eh. A research is a research is a research. Okay, it should speak truth. It should speak exactness. It should speak what? Organize. Organized body of knowledge. Maayos. Kasi because research is science. Tandaan nyo ha, research is science, kaya ginagawa natin to. Combination siya ng English, combination siya ng math, combination siya ng science. Basically, all your subjects. Kapag pinagsama-sama siya, sa research siya. Okay, so that's it. Tapos na tayo sa week 14 and week 15. So it's 2:30, meron kayong 1 hour to rest. Tapos babalik tayo ng 3:30 para sa reading and writing. Para sa reading and writing. May tanong ba? Class, may tanong. Mapuputol na tayo in 1 minute. Class, may tanong? Class, sagot naman kayo kung wala.
Wala po.
Okay,
Wala po.
sige. May pahinga kayo ng 1 hour. Babalik tayo ng 3:30 para sa reading and writing. Jean? Jean?
Sir?
Okay, paki-direct message na lang sa akin yung attendance.
Okay po.
Okay, so kung wala nang tanong, okay. Good afternoon everybody. See you later for reading and writing.